All right, we're going to begin. Good morning, everyone. My name is James Naughton. I'm an employee assistant counselor with Life and Work Connections at the University of Arizona. And part of our 15 and U presentation, this is what we call our Pause and Pivot Thursdays. And pausing and pivoting is really part and parcel of learning how to listen to your body, which is what we're going to talk about today and actually give you some background, some research behind it, and also to practice some basic exercises to begin to connect in a deeper way to the mind and body of our physical self, and learn how to be more present in the now, and to get out of our heads, to get out of our busy minds, and getting grounded and return back to the present moment where we can truly act and make informed decisions from an embodied place. And so I'll go on to the first slide here, if we can all see that. And the first thing we're going to talk about in terms of listening is defining what that is. And listening is giving attention to. It's being able to wait attentively, to heed closely, to receive and hold, and to accept. And what we're doing with the body is we're practicing what's called felt sense, which is listening to the mind and the voice of the body, and with curiosity. And when it's put that way, it's meant to kind of invite this new experience where we're moving out of a mental experience of thinking and doing, and moving out of so much the emotional place, and we're moving these things into the body and having a physical experience. So this gives us a way of kind of joining with our body's own intelligence to guide us, and it's learning to let go and follow the lead of what the body already knows. And so we're going to practice a little bit more and learn a little bit more about that today. So let's begin this conversation. And in order to do that, let's have something to kind of hang our hats on as far as what we're talking about. And when we're learning to listen to our bodies, the thing that we're connecting to is what's called this organic intelligence that was referred to and coined by a psychologist by the name of Peter Levine, who's been involved in the research of body-mind therapies and the treatment of anxiety and trauma, probably since the early 70s. And he's asking us to set aside that controlling, thinking, ego-centered mind and going towards this organic intelligence that has millions of years of collected experiences on how to deal with distress, if we only listen and set aside that. And we can trust it because this system is working all the time. It's here right now, working with us right now, evaluating what's happening in this moment. Where we sit in the room that we're in right now, how much light we have, all of these things, these preferences, these contours of experience are being managed by this organic intelligence, this very responsive physical system. And it regulates our breathing, our heart rate, our sleep, our digestion, whatever basic motor movements and responses we have, or like if we fall or our hands go out, or if we burn our hand, our other hand grabs it and holds it. All of these self-protective responses that are contained in what's called the autonomic nervous system, which is in the base of our brain. And the ANS has its own view of the world, and it has its own gentle and yet powerful voice that we can listen to. And its voice and its view is composed of sensation. So it's learning to listen to the visual, which maybe sound kind of strange, but it's learning to listen to the visual, the tactile, the touch, the auditory, what we're hearing, what are we orienting to with sound, Or what does our body want to do in a certain kind of movement? Or when we experience a certain scent, what does it elicit as a physical experience or a taste? And the other part of this voice is this kind of implicit knowing, this knowledge that we find underneath this physical experience, where we sense the body's movement towards something, approaching, or avoiding, disengaging, this expansion, this contraction. It's happening right now with our breathing. Our chest is expanding and contracting in this very flowing system, very organic system. And it also gives color to pleasant and unpleasant experiences. What is that? And where is this, all of this happening? It's happening in that autonomic system. So if we look at this gentle and powerful resource, what we're seeing here, just as a model, is the triune brain. This is sort of the evolutionary view of the brain. And the cortex, if you look at who's the newest kid on the block, that neocortex, that prefrontal cortex, that gives us this incredible human mind that we have to think and to reason, to reflect, to weigh consequences, anticipate the future. That's the newest kid on the block. But that kid also wants to run the show all the time, and we've probably been socialized to be in charge of that. So when we're out of control and anxious, sometimes that's where we're trying to operate from, but we don't necessarily have the structure or the resources in order to be able to manage. The next kid on the block, who's been there a lot longer, is that limbic brain, or that mammalian brain. And that part of our brain really gives a real context or texture of emotion to experience, those categorical emotions of sadness, of fear, disgust, anger, relief. All of those things are part of that mammalian brain. And then we have this reptilian brain, who's been here the longest. That's where our autonomic system is. And it's from here that all of these millions of years of visceral, implicit knowledge that exists in our bodies that we can trust. So to get a sense of that, if you look at the picture with the heads there, with the human head and the leopard, or the, I don't know, maybe that's a Komodo dragon, I'm not quite sure what that is, but it's really showing how much architecture we share, how much headspace we share with all other living beings out there, and what they can share with us and how they can help us. So in a way, we're kind of embracing our inner Komodo dragon in a sense, or our inner mammal that's going to help us be present in a very visceral and physical way. So we're going to go on to, now what can listening with the felt sense, how can that be useful to us? Well, we're getting connected to a body sensation-based feeling and knowing. That's what we're tuning into. It allows us to observe and to learn our own contours of feeling within our own experiences. And what I mean by that is, like when we go into a movie theater, we usually pick a place to sit. Maybe it's the place we usually want to sit. And maybe we don't want to sit close to the aisle, or we want to sit more to the center. Well, that's not so much an intellectual process. It is part of those contours of feeling. It's the body saying, this is what I prefer. This is where I would rather be. And that's the same thing when we see an open, verdant landscape. It's green and open. Are we attracted to that openness? Do we want to go into it? Do we want to move into that space? Or when we're looking at a beautiful painting, where do our eyes go to in the painting? What is that's drawing us in? Or how is it that when we're like sitting and reading and doing something, we can feel the visceral weight of a stare from our dog when he or she wants something? We can like feel it. And there's that body sense of being moved. And that's what we're trying to tap into and listen. The other thing that we're learning how to do with this exercise is when we're practicing listening to our body and using felt sense, we're returning to a center of control, where control is in us, not outside of us. And so much of what's happening today, with all the news and information and stimulus we're getting on the outside, or things we're trying to manage and control outside of us, that can be a really difficult and can do a lot of, it can destabilize or dysregulate us in creating these threatening scenarios for our autonomic system that gets activated. But if we return to that knowing and connecting inside and learning how to live from the inside out, we're going to find ourselves being more present and able to come to our own assistance. And the practice, which doesn't have to be very complicated and very simple, maybe 10 minutes a day, it actually does have an effect on improving the interconnections of that prefrontal cortex, that limbic brain of the emotions, and the autonomic system. And we can actually see changes in the brain, the new neural pathways that become developed because we're developing this awareness. And the last advantage of developing and using felt sense is that we can learn to reference or attribute our emotions, our sensations, our issues, our conflicts, and move them into the body where we can transform them. So it's like, when I'm feeling anxious right now, where is that anxiousness in my body and where isn't that feeling? And when I'm having this dilemma and I can't make a decision, what happens when I observe that dilemma in my mind and bring it into my body? What does my body tell me about this? And so we're learning how to self-soothe, something that maybe some of us have not been able to do. So when we're going to do this exercise now, I want you to think of this concept of the sandwich. So I have you this blueprint of a sandwich here to kind of outline what we're going to do with this exercise. So the bread part of this exercise of listening is when we're going to do some external orientation. We're going to look around the room and pay attention to something in our environment and notice what that's like. Then we're going to move into the body and ask our body, what does it notice about this experience? And then we're going to go back out to the external again. So we're kind of going in, or we're going out and in and out and in as a way of helping the system get familiar with what's calm and stabilizing in the environment right now. So what I'd like everyone to do is, wherever you're sitting right now, to let your eyes go where they want in the room. Just let them kind of look around and let them kind of see all the different things that you might have, the different frames or pictures or things you might have on your desk or on the ground. It doesn't really matter, but what I want you to notice or wonder is, as I'm looking around, what feels the most comfortable to look at? You know, what part of the room do my eyes want to go to? And you can even add to it, like when you find that, maybe even ask yourself, what am I liking the most about what I'm seeing right now? And it doesn't have to be anything special. It's just, what am I drawn to? You know, is there even a feeling or a pull to whatever I'm looking at? I just want you to notice that and bring your attention to that right now and hold that view of whatever it is you're seeing. And now, as you're looking at it and observing it, I want you to wonder in your mind out loud and say, as I look at this, how does this, how does my body tell me that this is a pleasant or interesting experience? Or where is this comfortable experience in my body right now? So as I look at the carpet, or if I'm looking at something on my desk, when I look at this, if it feels pleasant, where is that pleasantness in my body? Can I locate it? And bringing that body referencing in, and just bring your attention there. Bring your attention to where that pleasant feeling is. And as you're bringing it in there, just let yourself wonder about it. I want you to hold it and savor it, just like if you were holding your hands in front of a fire and noticing the warmth. I want you to notice that pleasant or curious feeling in your body, and maybe even wonder, does it have a color or a shape or a texture or a weight to it? And then I want you to just take a mental snapshot of it and then go to external orientation and just let yourself look around the room again, letting your eyes go where they want. And that's just one passing cycle of that in and out. What I would recommend people to do is to do that 3 times, where you go from the external orientation to the internal to the external, and do that 3 times and then stop. And what you might notice is that those sensations and those feelings change in the body. The body sees a beginning and a middle and an end to experience, and the body loves to see things move and change and shift. And that helps that autonomic system complete a response. And that's what we're helping that system do by joining with it with this listening. We're completing responses versus getting locked into them like we do with our minds or our emotions. So what I want you to know now is the resources and content page here. Peter Levine created somatic experiencing, which is part of what this exercise is based on. Eugene Glendon is a philosopher. He worked with Carl Rogers in developing this focusing. And Bessel van der Kolk is also a major contributor to the field of body-mind awareness and reducing anxiety and treating trauma symptoms. And there's also some online sources here that you can link to actually see some more video demonstrations. And I just want to say that I want to encourage you to practice this maybe 10 minutes a day, just lightly engaging with your environment and engaging your body and engaging the environment, doing those 3 times in a row and just letting yourself notice and be curious. Your body will thank you for it. And I also thank you for being here today, and I appreciate your time. And I hope that you have a wonderful and present day. Thank you.